Have you ever been asked, where were you on 9/11? I know I have been, and I can tell you exactly where I was in my apartment outside of Baltimore. Um, and I can also tell you where I was when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. And many of my friends who are slightly older can tell me where they were when they found out that JFK had been shot. These are disruptive occurrences over the past 60 years that changed the world and changed how we viewed the world and how we viewed ourselves and how we operated as individuals and as a collective people. Um, in each one of these things, they were instantaneous. It happened. You were where you were. You were with who you were with, and there's not a whole lot you could do about that. There wasn't time to think or to make plans or to do anything to change where you were in the midst of that. And yet, it left this imprint on our lives to where decades later we still know exactly where, and it comes back like that. We're in the middle of a huge disruption right now, major disruption to our lives. But unlike those other ones that were instantaneous, this one is different. This one is stretched out. This one is a season. This is one where the changes seem to come every hour. It's affecting our schools and our work and our lives like nothing in 100 years has. And so my question is, what if this really could be different in the way we handle it? You know, the stories that we tell of 9/11 and of the Space Shuttle Challenger and all that, we didn't have a lot of say-so in those stories, but these stories, the stories that we're going to tell for the next 20, 30, 40 years, the stories that our kids are going to tell for the rest of their lives, what if we were able to shape those stories? What if it wasn't just, oh, I remember where I was when this happened, but what if we looked back and it became a time of when they said, that was a time when my family grew in a way that it never had before. That was a time when I took my time that I had and I developed a skill that I had always wanted to develop. That was a time when I did some online training that allowed me to really make a huge leap in my career that I never thought I was going to have time or the ability to do. That was a time when I was able to bond with my children or with my spouse in a way that I never had before because we were always so busy. And it was a time that we got a new perspective on life and what mattered. So dream with me for just a little bit. Dream, what would your life look like? If there was one thing you could change about your day-to-day, what would it be? If there was some kind of skill that you could learn, is it something you could do now? What would you change, and what could you do so that the stories we tell 20 and 30 years from now will be stories that allow us to look back on this, not just with the fear and horror, because there is going to be that, but also to look back and say, but these are the good things that we saw come out of it because I took control, decided to shape my story. There's so much of this that we can't control. How we respond and how we grow through it is something we can control. What's amazing about a disruption is that it disrupts our habits, it disrupts our norms, it disrupts how the different patterns we get into. Normally, those patterns and those habits are the very things that keep us from changing our lives and from becoming different people and from advancing who we are. But all that's gone. Those patterns, those habits, those norms have been taken from us because of this disruption, which means that this is the easiest time to make changes. Your norms have been taken away. All the roadblocks have been taken away. You've been given time. Let's embrace it. What are we going to do? How are we going to make the most of it? Let's embrace the disruption and see what happens. So dream with me. What would you like to see different in your life? And how are we going to do it?